two of world football's heavyweights woke up today out of the World Cup. Germany, four-time world champions, the Netherlands, perennial contenders, both gone. Both on penalties, both beaten by underdogs almost nobody had backed. In the space of a single day, the knockout stage was turned completely upside down, and the reaction has been seismic. National celebrations on one side of the world, brutal postmortems on the other. So let's talk about how the internet, the world's media, and two stunned football nations reacted to the wildest day of this World Cup so far. It all happened within a few hours of each other. First, Paraguay knocked Germany out on penalties. Then, Morocco dumped out the Netherlands, also on penalties. Two of the biggest names in the sport, eliminated on the very same day, by teams ranked far below them, and the football world reeled. It also instantly reframed a debate that's been simmering all tournament long. Because remember, this is the first ever World Cup with 48 teams and a brand new round of 32, and plenty of people had criticized it, arguing it just bolted on easy, meaningless extra games for the big nations. Well, after this, as CBS Sports put it, the new round is already proving these are real battles, and the giants are the ones finding out the hard way. Online, the reaction was a blend of pure disbelief and a kind of grim vindication. This expanded format is not a victory parade, it's a minefield. And on the very first full day of the knockouts, two favorites stepped right on it. Suddenly the conversation flipped from, which giant lifts the trophy, to, wait, is anyone actually safe? When four-time champions and a perennial dark horse can both be gone before July, every remaining favorite is looking over their shoulder. But nowhere was the fallout louder than in Germany, because Germany didn't just lose, they imploded. This is a four-time world champion that had already crashed out in the group stage at the last two World Cups. This time they finally reached the knockouts, and then lost their first ever World Cup penalty shootout, after winning all four of their previous ones. For a nation whose entire identity was built on ice-cold efficiency from the spot, that is almost unthinkable. And the German media did not hold back. Bild branded it another nightmare for German football, and savaged the performance as slow and indifferent. The pressure swung instantly onto head coach Julian Nagelsmann, with German reporters openly asking whether that was his last match in charge. Nagelsmann pushed straight back, insisting he has no intention of resigning, and is ready to carry on if the federation still wants him. And there's a grievance feeding the fury, too. In extra time, Germany thought they'd won it when Jonathan Tah headed home, only for VAR to rule it out for a foul on the goalkeeper. Then, from the spot, they missed three. Their goalkeeper Manuel Neuer even pulled off a save of his own to keep them breathing, but it still wasn't enough. German fans are caught somewhere between rage and heartbreak. And underneath it all is a bigger, more uncomfortable question that's been building for years. What exactly has happened to German football? 3 straight World Cups have now ended in deep disappointment, and the online inquest has already begun, about the players, the system, and whether a once fearsome footballing machine has truly lost its aura. Meanwhile, half a world away, an entire country lost its mind, in the best possible way. Because for Paraguay, this was the greatest day in a generation. This was the shock of the tournament, a team that sat deep, defended for their lives, and dared one of the giants to break them down. And when they refused to crack, the celebrations went nuclear. Back home, the president of Paraguay literally declared a national holiday, calling the achievement something that went beyond sport. Just sit with that for a second. Your team beats Germany at a World Cup, and the entire country is handed the day off to celebrate. Fans flooded the streets of Asunción deep into the night. And the hero of it all was goalkeeper Orlando Gill, who saved 2 penalties in the shootout and walked away as man of the match. His description of weathering the German storm was perfect. He said it was like a horror movie, with the Germans coming at them from everywhere. For a so-called underdog, that might just be the quote of the tournament, equal parts terrified and triumphant. And this wasn't a one-off fluke, either. It was the same stubborn, compact, impossible to break down Paraguay that had already frustrated Turkey and Australia in the group stage. They've turned defiance into an art form, and a whole nation is now riding the wave with them. And then, just hours later, it happened all over again. The Netherlands against Morocco was billed as the heavyweight tie of the round, and it delivered, before breaking Dutch hearts in the most Dutch way imaginable. Here's the brutal stat the internet pounced on. The Netherlands hadn't lost a World Cup match in regulation since 2010. The problem is how they exit, late, and so often from the penalty spot. Argentina knocked them out on penalties in 2014, again in 2022, and now Morocco in 2026. It's hardening into a genuine national curse, and Dutch fans feel every bit of it. But this is just as much a story about Morocco, and over there, the reaction wasn't really shock at all. Because Morocco are not a fairy tale anymore, they're a powerhouse. This is the side that stormed to the semi-finals in 2022, and they arrived at this match ranked right alongside the Dutch. Knocking out the Netherlands wasn't an upset to Morocco's fans, it was confirmation. The Atlas Lions, roared on by one of the loudest, most passionate fan bases on the planet, are once again the team absolutely nobody wants to draw. They'd already beaten Scotland and come from behind against Haiti to get here. And one of the faces of this Moroccan surge is Brahim Diaz, the Real Madrid forward who, in a move that still stings in Spain, chose to represent Morocco back in 2023 and has become a genuine hero to the Atlas Lions ever since. For Ronald Koeman's Netherlands, it's another agonizing late exit. For Morocco, it's simply the next step for a team that now belongs at the very top table. So what does it all add up to? 2 giants down, and the message of these knockouts could not be clearer. This World Cup has no easy games left. Paraguay march on to face the winner of France and Sweden. Morocco move on to meet Canada. And the so-called minnows of this tournament have just told the football world, loudly, that they are done being minnows. If there was any lingering idea that the expanded World Cup would protect the elite, this single day blew it apart. From here on, every fixture looks like a potential ambush. So I want to hear from you. Is this the most chaotic start to a World Cup knockout stage you can remember? Were Germany and the Netherlands simply not good enough, or is this brand new format the great equalizer nobody saw coming? And who's the next giant to fall? Drop it all in the comments.